Hey, what's up you guys? It's IAmTheLionRider, and today we are going to be going over a brand new prop piece that was added to Planet Zoo by yours truly that has basically been the most requested prop piece probably to be added to Planet Zoo since the beginning of the game. So if you weren't aware, for whatever reason, the Chainlink fence piece has been in the game since the very beginning, and it's only been a fence type up until now. So you'd go into the barriers tab and you would select it from here. And ever since then, people have been requesting an actual Chainlink piece to be added to the game. And so after much waiting, I just went,
Fine. I'll do it myself.
and then here we are. So this is the Chainlink piece. So I guess we'll just get started. So you can see them vaguely right here. And these are the three sizes. So by popular request, I did three sizes. So you have the 1 meter, the 2 meter, and the 4 meter sizes respectively. And I actually went ahead and made them flexi color as well, just in the off chance you wanted to, make them crazier colors or whatever. By default, they're kind of like a whitish color. I highly recommend you go for like a darker gray so that you get it a lot more visible. But by making it flexi color, I've actually found a few different techniques that I wanted to go over on how to utilize this piece to make it really pop in your zoos. So if you look at the actual default Chainlink in the game, it's not bad, but as you can see from far away, it just kind of fades into the distance. But if you actually take this Chainlink as an instance, I'm going to show you how to get it to really pop like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your construction tab. You're going to get a new Chainlink piece. Here are the three icons. You can get them. They're called Chainlink piece: 1 meter, 2 meter, and 4 meter. We'll grab a 4 meter and we'll do it probably over here. So by default, it's like this whitish gray color, and that's kind of a little too light for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it black by default, all right? So we get this dark black color. You can kind of see it from pretty far away. Obviously, it's a 2D plane, so zoom out far enough, you can't even see it. But if you then duplicate the piece, and then this is a really cool thing, you can make it any type of like color you want. So maybe we'll go for like a rusty orange, right? So if we go for like a rusted Chainlink piece, you can then just kind of layer on top of the black and then move it slightly, and then you essentially get this kind of shadow effect, which I think really looks nice on the actual Chainlink. So you can like literally just position it ever so slightly, kind of like so, and then it makes it really pop. Like as you can see, like this is very visible now. So it's basically 2 layers, but since it's only 2 polygons, this entire piece is nothing. Like it's literally, you could use this as much as you want. And the beauty is, like I said, you can always flip it around and scale it, or well, not scale it, this isn't PK unfortunately, but you can flip it around however you want and build cool stuff with it. So let's say you're a little creatively drained and don't know what you would use this for. So I've actually taken the liberty of making a couple of examples of how you could use the Chainlink. So the most notable is obviously your standard Chainlink kind of aviary / exhibit. So basically you're just going to take the exact same technique I gave, where you basically just use the pieces and then layer them on top of each other. And then I highly recommend using the painted metal rod. So you can find that in the Australia section, I believe. So the painted metal rod, if you don't have the Australia pack, you could always use one of the type of painted wood. So if you wanted to use like the East Asian planks, they would also work quite well. So you could use these, or a couple of other props that are very thin like that, and they help really just frame your actual exhibits. So another thing that you might want to do, and this is another technique, is if you would like, you can actually use the default in-game barriers. So let's quickly use the barriers. So let's say you were to make an actual exhibit and it was using the in-game Chainlink pieces, right? So you could just make a quick little habitat like so. Just quickly do that. And then what you can do is select the whole thing, and then normally you would be like, well, maybe I wanted a roof on this, and that wasn't previously an option. However, now with this new piece, if you download it, you can just grab the chain link and then just kind of layer it right on top. And, oh, well, I was way off with the actual positioning, but if I actually positioned it correctly, let's try to line it up the best we can. So if I do like that, I think this is a bit too big for the actual roof I made. We could always fix that, of course. But as you can see, it kind of actually works really well to just cover up the stuff. Now, the other thing is, it technically, as of right now, it doesn't have a collider. And so if you had actual animals, they would probably try to escape. So I highly recommend you do some sort of elephant grass technique or other things. I know rhinos, as an example I tested yesterday, they get around it by not using the poles and stuff. Or, of course, you can use the actual chain link fence and then just use these as a roof on top of them, and then it looks fine. Also, you know, definitely probably like change your colors to match the existing thing, so they have kind of like a brownish color, I guess. So you could probably like, yeah, like something like that. So if you did that, you know, it would look a lot better and more in line with everything. So another thing that if you didn't want to use them is you could just use them as little fences. So as you can see, I basically just made a little mock Australia exhibit. I don't know, this could be for like tortoises or kangaroos or something. But you can use them as like a little like rusty metal type of fence, or a normal chain link fence if you wanted to make them gray, of course. And so I think that's kind of another little thing, and it works really well with the existing Australian mesh and stuff. And instead of using the painted metal, I would just use the rusty bars if you want to go for rusted metal. But I think it looks really, really good either way. So the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is actual updates that will be coming later down the line for this thing. So you might have noticed right now I've kind of been struggling to select these pieces. So as you can see, like I'll try to click around and it's not always perfect. And that is because of the piece that I based these off of. So while they are a new type of prop, so they would show up totally differently. You literally type in chain link and they don't replace anything. As a base, I did use these things, the 2D Boogaloo fonts. So basically, if we imagine the collider right here is around this shape. So the collider is essentially in the center of each of these pieces. So as an example, if I tried to click around this entire area, it doesn't work. But if I click relatively close to the middle, I'll delete that for now. As you can see, I can select it. So basically, if anyone is having issues selecting them, just imagine that there is a Boogaloo font 0 in the center of each piece, and that is what you're going to use. For the smallest one, it's pretty easy. You have a lot of leeway because it's roughly the size of the actual shape. But for the 2 meter and the 4 meter, it's definitely recommended you just select the middle. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. Or if you want, always use the drag select. That also really works quite well. Now, this is going to be fixed once we get hitbox colliders up to date. Hendrix is working on it right now. So this is just going to be a thing that will be patched out eventually. So the last thing I want to talk about is just another thing that will be talked about revolving the workshop. So I mentioned this a bit in my last video, but if anyone uses the chain link and puts it on the workshop in some form of blueprint, please, please, please make sure to tag it like modded or something. Requires mods, include the link to the Nexus, because I really want to avoid people's games crashing. The other thing is I would just recommend, if possible, don't even share blueprints on the workshop using the chain link piece or any other modular piece. Just because right now it would crash people's games if they don't have the mod, and I know a lot of people like to just go through the workshop and just hit subscribe, etc. And I just really like, I want to keep Frontier, like, you know, happy the best I can, and so if we can avoid unnecessary crashes and stuff due to people downloading stuff off the workshop, that'd be quite good. So that's really all I have to say. I will be having a modular or a new scenery tutorial up tomorrow where I'm going to be showing you how to make your own new scenery. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you tomorrow.